Okay, today we are playing a game on Junkertown. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing D.Va on attack and Ana on defense. And our current team composition is Hammond, D.Va, Soldier 76, Genji, Moira, and Zenyatta. So it is a little awkward to have basically a dive comp, and then Moira and Soldier 76. Because Moira just has trouble keeping up with dive comps, usually, and doesn't bring as much utility as Ana does, basically. Because Ana, you can heal them from really far away, you get to do damage, bio grenades as good as ever, nano boost as good as ever. Moira just can't compete in terms of utility, sadly. I love Moira, she can't really compete. And Soldier 76 is a little weird. Now, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone, it's not unusual to have fun with anyone, but when I see you hanging around with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry I want to die. It's also not unusual to run Widowmaker with a dive comp, just because having Widowmaker there to set kills up or finish kills off for the divers is just nice to have around, pretty much. Soldier 76, not as good at that as Widowmaker is, so also a little bit awkward. Other than that, whatever. Let's just start the game. So we got to attack Junkertown first, which is super exciting, always very fun map to attack and defend. Very well designed map. So Hammond has decided to get a head start on turbo feeding by just immediately killing himself on the entire enemy team. So that's a good start. It's a good start to things so far. So we decide to go up and try and harass these boys. And I'm not super excited to do it just because the other tank's dead right now, and I saw from the kill feed that they have a McCree up there, because if we go back, should have pointed this out at the time, we can see McCree's in the kill feed. Ana and Zenyatta are also in the kill feed. So, they've got a team comp that can, if not kill us, de-mech us extremely quickly. And Reinhardt's being bad right now, because he's holding his shield up when it's really close to breaking. It's not blocking for anybody, because everybody's actually behind that wall right there. Look at that. Just like, look at this. Everybody's just hiding behind this wall, and he's just holding his shield up, I don't know, for the sake of it. I'm drawing on the fucking OBS window, because I'm a fucking dumbass. He's just holding his shield up, like, you know, why not? Hey, look how sweet this rectangle is. So we could just be shooting that to give ourselves something to do. Because coming up here is a little bit on the scary side, just because of their team comp. And, also, it's just like D.Va isn't as safe doing something like this as Hammond, or just bang the table, I'm sorry. It's not as safe for D.Va to do something like this as it is for Hammond and Winston. Because D.Va just doesn't have the same kind of defensive options that they do, basically. Hammond is just extraordinarily annoying to kill, especially now that he doesn't have to even come out of his ball to use his shield. And Winston's got the bubble, which is 360 degrees protection. D.Va's only got defense matrix. It's not as good, so when you go in for this kind of aggressive play, it's really easy to just take a ton of damage when you're in there, or like before you get back out again, which is exactly what happened. And that's how we feed the enemy team a lot of ult charge, is D.Va. Because D.Va's one of those heroes where it's really easy to feed the enemy team a bunch of ult charge. She's one of the classic ult battery heroes. So we gotta be really careful that we don't just, like, go in for something like that, which we stand to gain extremely little out of. Like, we stand to gain a little bit of ult charge from hitting the enemy team. And that's it. But we stand to lose our mech, right? And if bare minimum, just feed a lot of ult charge. So, very high risk for a very low reward overall. So, their D.Va, she's done something similar, and now she's ended up being de-mech'd. Tragically, a lot of our team are dead right now, so we don't actually manage to get anything off of that. We shouldn't really be, like, out here at this point anymore, because we've already lost the fight. Like, de-meching D.Va, very cool, you know, nice to have done. But as soon as that's happened, that's as much as we stand to gain from this fight. Half our team is dead right now. We should just go back into the spawn and wait for our team to regroup. Because, again, all that's going to happen out here is we lose our mech, die, feed ult charge. That's all we stand to gain from being out here at this point. And we did indeed lose our mech. Now, fortunately, McCree was doing some dumb shit, so we got a kill there. Genji literally just walked out the door and immediately died again. So that's very exciting. He just got absolutely annihilated by that Ana. It was incredible. So now we've got what I would consider to be a classic Junkertown situation, where we're sitting outside our spawn, and literally everybody's just walking outside, one by one, getting killed, and then the cycle is repeating itself infinitely. Our team has shockingly managed to regroup just in time for us to get span on. I mean, I know we want to try and, like, get some damage in, because we want to get our mech back, obviously. But we don't need to be this close to them still, because we could... I mean, you know, basically, you don't want to go very far forward as D.Va when you're baby D.Va, because extremely easy to die. All we're trying to do is get our mech back. We're really close to getting our mech back. We don't need to, like, go up around the corner to see people and then get, like, some shots in. Because if we go around the corner, we're going to be right next to the entire enemy team, right? They've been loitering in that general area over there. So we could instead go... I mean, we could go up on the high ground if we wanted to. We could just go, like, a little bit further over that way instead and just, like, peek around the corner, get a couple shots in, peek back around the corner, get our mech forward. And it looked like we're trekking, like, straight forward towards them, which is very scary to do when we're baby D.Va. We're baby D.Va, we just want to sit as far back as possible, pretty much. Just pretend we're a long-range DPS for a while, because D.Va's gun, not exactly a precision weapon, is it now? You just spam into a tank to get mech back, and try to expose yourself to as little risk as possible. Because here's how I encourage you to think about your mech as D.Va, right? So, when you're playing D.Va, when you lose your mech, you have basically died, right? Because you're not a hero anymore, really, at that point. You've got no abilities, 150 hit points, honestly, a better gun, but, right, you're not really a hero anymore at that point. You're certainly not a tank, so you've basically died. So here's the thing, though. If you can get your mech back in, like, somewhere in the region of 10 seconds or lower, you've effectively respawned really quickly. Because ordinarily, when you respawn, you have to die, right? You have to respawn again. So that takes 10 seconds, bare minimum. And then you've got to also add on however much time it takes you to get back again, right? So if you can get your mech back reasonably quickly, you effectively respawn a lot faster as baby D.Va, which means you get to have tremendous uptime compared to some other heroes, as long as you don't fully die. You only lose your mech. Now the thing is, though, if you lose your mech and then walk around as baby D.Va for, like, any amount of time, basically 5-10 seconds, whatever, you're just walking around for that long, and then you die as baby D.Va, you effectively added that amount of time to your respawn, because that's time you spent not really being a hero, right? So you really want to be just super careful, and just, like, try not to die. Don't worry about killing anybody necessarily as baby D.Va. Just spam into some easy-to-hit targets and get your mech back as fast as possible so you can get back in the fight again. Things have been going, like, all to shit all around in the first, like, minute and a half of this game, you know? So, a very hazardous position to be in all around, but just general guidelines for D.Va. So, hold on, let me go back a bit. I was so busy wrapped up in my own head, I wasn't watching what was going on. So, Genji's being a very productive member of society yet again. It is unfortunate to have Hammond as our other tank, to be honest with you, because the Hammond's not very good. He's not really being much of a main tank, which Hammond theoretically can be. Not really in just competitive, more of a organized play situation, or a very high level. So all that's really happening is we're trying to frontline as D.Va without a main tank for most of this, and it's very hard to do that as D.Va. I don't like thinking of Hammond as being a main tank, basically. So we are currently, like, half health right now. So going forward into them is pretty scary, because we stand to lose our mech reasonably quickly. I'd rather play a little bit more passively, just stand in coalescence for a second, basically. Get up to a fuller amount of hit points and then go forward. Because D.Va, so big, so easy to hit. 300 health, incredibly soft, especially with her massive crit box. I'd rather wait till we're a little healthier if we're going to go up and contest the objective, basically. Especially since we're so close to having self-destruct. So Hammond's gone in to use Minefield. Soldier's also using Tac Visor right now, but it hasn't really amounted to too terribly much. Genji's now using his ultimate. So we could have chucked our ult in, basically as soon as he did that, because this is the thing with D.Va's ultimate. By itself, it's not a very good ultimate, right? Most effectively used by itself just for zoning, because it's very hard to get kills with it. But it is the kind of thing where the enemy team can't ignore your ultimate, so they do have to get out of the way, right? But it's still unlikely to kill people, especially on a map like this, where there's like a lot of things they can take cover behind, unless they're literally just standing out in the middle of the open field, right? In which case they get fucked, I guess. But it is really good if somebody else is also using their ultimate, because if Genji's using his ultimate, like he is right now, and you chuck your ultimate in there, suddenly they're having to huddle around corners and in rooms out of the way of self-destruct, and that just means Genji gets to cut into a lot more people freely, basically, because suddenly they have to hide from the bomb, but they also have to worry about Genji coming and getting them. It's very hard to deal with both of those things simultaneously. Similarly, we have Soldier. We couldn't have done this one because of the timing on our ult charge, but if Soldier's using Tac Visor, and you just throw self-destruct on the other side of the enemy team, well, now they've got to worry about self-destruct over there, but they've also got to worry about Soldier over here, so you just divide their attention between two very threatening ultimates. And, you know, if they've got like a Reinhardt, you've got a Reinhardt, he's got self-destruct, chuck it on the other side of Reinhardt, he's gonna turn around to block it, and then your Reinhardt gets a 3 Earth Shatter. Stuff like that. Otherwise, best used for zoning. So we would have been justified in just like seeing him doing that and immediately chucking our ultimate over there to see if we can basically set Genji up to kill more people with Dragon Blade and maybe snipe some kills of our own. Because as well, they're probably going to back up more into, like, the open area over there to try and get away from Genji, which makes it harder for them to get into cover. We didn't do that. Genji immediately just ate shit, which is nothing new for this guy, but hey. So, Genji's changed to McCree. Thank goodness. Just walk in. Yeah, just go heal. Just go heal. Don't poke your face out. Don't poke your face back out again. Because if we're gonna, like... we'll assume that we're waiting for our healers to come back so they can get some ult charge off of us. That's fine, it's a noble endeavor. We can be an ult battery for our own team as much as we can the enemy team. But don't poke your face back out again. Like, they're being real aggro right now. We got 90 hit points. We take a crit from basically anybody, we're out of our mech right now. Like, if we're gonna wait for our team, wait in the hallway. If we don't want to wait for our healers, just go in and get healed and come back out again. Alright, so anyway, we've gotten healed, didn't lose our mech, all fine, no problem. So we just lobbed self-destruct in right now. We do manage to get Ana, so that's pretty good. There wasn't really anybody to combo our ultimate out of. They're using a lot of ultimates right now. They're using a lot of ultimates. They used 3 ultimates. So, I guess self-destruct got 3 ults out of them. That's pretty cool. That's above average result, really. A kill and 3 ultimates. So... basically, we didn't really have to do much during this particular part right here. Our team just got a bunch of picks all at the same time, so, hey, that means we get to start pushing finally. Fantastic. We haven't really provided a huge amount of value to our team so far, but, I would describe that as being difficult to do under these circumstances, because Hammond's still not particularly good. So, we've basically been trying to pretending to be a main tank as D.Va for a little bit, which is hard. Don't just use Defense Matrix or something like this, because we use it right here. It's just Baby D.Va shooting. Defense Matrix is way too precious of a resource to just use on, like, trash chip damage, pretty much. We want to use it on big things, like cooldowns, Ana Grenade, Dart, Fire Strike, ultimates, obviously. Don't use it on just chip damage. They've nerfed the fucking resource on Defense Matrix so many times, you have to be really careful what you use it for now. So we come over here to try and finish Reaper off. Didn't get on him quite quickly enough, and he managed to get to the health kit in time. Very sad, but at the same time, we've captured the objective, so it doesn't matter. Right, like, we've won, anyway. Could have blocked that. Fire Strike's a good one to hit because even though it's, or to eat rather, even though it's just poke damage, right, which you might interpret as being trash damage, if you, trust me, I played a lot of fucking Reinhardt, right? As soon as you start eating every Fire Strike Reinhardt throws, the Reinhardt just wants his existence to end, pretty much, because suddenly you go from Earth Shatter to being one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game to being one of the slowest charging ultimates in the game if you eat every single Fire Strike. So Fire Strike's a really good one to eat with Defense Matrix. Just makes it so much harder for the enemy Reinhardt to build Earth Shatter, and Earth Shatter is a very big money ultimate. Which we probably know, but just, you know, just in case. That's a really good one to get. Didn't get that one, could have got that one. So, Reaper is behind us right now. He did kill McCree. I don't know why I pushed back. I didn't really need to push back right there. He did just kill McCree behind us. This is of concern to us. We're the off-tank right now, so it is our job to worry about flankers. And anybody behind us, basically. I mean, that's flankers, isn't it? It's our job to worry about that kind of thing, so we should be more concerned about it. Here, we're just like, we can't really just go forward this aggressively by ourselves. I mean, I know our team is kind of with us, but like, we're so big and easy to hit, and they're like all right there. McCree's gonna do a lot of damage to us because our hit, then what a waste. Everybody's already dead and he decides to push it. Our crit box is fucking huge. McCree's right there, Ryan's right there, D.Va's right there. We can't just really go forward that freely against their team. It's very difficult for us to get much done. Like, we're really looking to, like, try and get on their backline as much as possible. But the enemy team's playing pretty close together, and, like, our team, I wouldn't describe it as being a great display of a dive comp so far. Honestly, like, I'll be real with you, I would have just changed to Reinhardt by this point. Hammond's not doing a good job of being a main tank. At this point, both our DPS are Soldier and McCree. The only remnants of our dive comp anymore is the fact we're playing 2 dive tanks, so I would have just changed to Reinhardt by this point, because Lord knows Hammond isn't being a very good main tank right now. Oh, I just saw a boy lurking over there. We did look over at that door, so we might have noticed, but you see him over there, just skulking in the shadows? Well, the shadows. I had a lot of trouble interpreting that as Reaper as a glance. Like, obviously it is a Reaper, because, like, who else is gonna be squat over there? But, like, hasn't his silhouette just become so ambiguous? It's not immediately obvious it's Reaper, is it? That's the thing with a lot of, like, the weirder skins in this game, is that they really distort the character's silhouette, which can make it harder to identify the person. Because as we learned many years ago from TF2, right, and it's carried on since then, what we learned from TF2 is that the most immediate visual identifier of a character is their silhouette. And everyone in Overwatch has a pretty unique silhouette overall, right? But some characters, their skins get a little bit out there. Like Strike Commander Morrison, because he's wearing the long jacket, his silhouette kind of gets distorted as looking like Reapers. Like, it gets a little weird. And I mean, Overwatch is a very exaggerated game, so you can still figure it out. But some of the silhouettes have gotten a little bit muddier with some of these weirder skins. So we chucked Self-Destruct in right there. I was busy talking about fucking skins and silhouettes, so, you know, I was not really paying attention. I would describe that as being an extremely optimistic use of Self-Destruct, which I'm usually not a particularly big fan of, because you're pretty much just rolling a dice on if it's going to accomplish too much. And hey, it rolled well this time. All good. Good times. I prefer to use it with other people, other people's ultimates, just because it's not that great by itself, unless you get kind of lucky. But we got lucky, so hey, there you go. Oh, Reaper's being played by Hades, isn't that good? Isn't that good? So, we cause Reaper a lot of problems right now. We're really, like, stifling his fun a lot right now, and I would describe this as being a pretty good use of our time. Because Reaper so far has been one of the bigger problems for our team, and we just basically dealt with that by ourselves. Half the enemy team was still dead at the time as well, so it's not like we were leaving our team completely alone. Tragically, we got Earth Shattered right there, and there's really not a lot we can do about that one just because of our team comp. We have no one on our team that can block Earth Shatter. So our only recourse against Earth Shatter is pretty much try and stay spread apart as much as possible, so we're more vulnerable to, not as vulnerable to Earth Shatter, or self-destruct. Yeah, you know, that's kinda all you can do when you've got nothing that can block Earth Shatter. I do think it was correct to go after the Reaper, especially since it looked like he was trying to set up for Death Blossom. It's just unfortunate that then we got Earth Shattered, and that really, really stifled our momentum a lot. Tragically, there's just not much we can do about that one. This is why it's kind of scary to play against a Reinhardt and not have a Reinhardt on your own team, or at least like an Orisa or even a Zarya, because they can block Earth Shatter, right? Like, Winston, Orisa, Zarya, they can all block Earth Shatter. Neither Hammond nor D.Va can. So, pretty scary. Pretty scary to be that way against them. So, you know, this game doesn't have a lot of time left on the timeline, so you might infer how well this Ana segment's gonna go. Yeah, it's scary to run against a Reinhardt and not have anything like that to counter it. Not so bad if you're running like a full dive comp, because your team is more likely to be spread apart. You know, you got maybe a far up in the sky, you got two flankers off doing their own thing, so your team tends to be more spread apart and therefore less vulnerable to Earth Shatter by extension. But when you're DPS and supports, like, we got Soldier McCree, Moira Zenyatta, pretty static backline, so they're going to be pretty close together a lot of the time. And then we got the two dive tanks, so a lot easier for him to get value out of Earth Shatter. So now we've entered the Ana segment of the game. We're going to sit all the way over here. It's a little scary to be this far over, because our team is kind of far away from us. And if somebody comes over, like if they've got like a Genji or a Pharah, and they go over the left side out the gate, they can come up on us pretty quickly, and then we've got to go across the bridge to get back to safety, and the enemy team might be pushed up enough to contest us at the same time, so it's a little scary to be over here. I think we would have been safer overall just hanging next to our team, especially since we've got Bridget on our team. Now they've all gone down there to start fighting the enemy team, so... Oh, Ryan did get pretty far up right there. We called for him not to go too far up. It did look like he was going to go kind of far up. Like, Reinhardt players, you got to assume they're just going to go balls to the wall. Trust me, they're going to go balls to the wall. I'd know. So you gotta be ready. If it looks like the guy might go hard in the next couple seconds, you gotta kind of be in position so that you're ready to try and catch him when he falls, pretty much. Because we Reinhardt players are not well known for our self-preservation instinct. They shouldn't have made the charge button so good to land. You know, it feels too good. So we could have chucked the grenade at him right here to try and keep this guy alive. Did he just take his shield down while still healthy? It only just cracked. It couldn't have been that bad, and he took it down. He was trying to shield hop at a really bad time. Could have chucked our grenade at him to try and heal him faster. It's kind of the point of the grenade, to try and keep people alive, you know? But Reinhardt did also do a no-no at the same time. They will. They will. Best to assume, just assume the Reinhardt player is going to do bad things, because they probably will. So I would have actually probably gone for the Trank on that lady right there, because she's kind of far away. It's a little on the optimistic side, no doubt, but Widowmakers tend to not want to move too much. So I actually, even as a little optimistic, I think I had a decent chance to actually hit her. So Reinhardt's going in, he's going in, oh, okay. Was that intentional? Because he kind of got in front of us at the same time. Could have been intentional, but it might not have also been intentional. Could have gone either way on that one. Chuck the grenade in there. They're using trance right now, so we really want to try and cancel trance with the bio grenade if at all possible. Especially since we've just used Nano Blade at the same time, so we really want this trance to not be healing people. Have we actually used the bio grenade at all yet? We really want to use the bio grenade. Like even right there, right? Like, even right now, we can get Reinhardt and D.Va with it. And ideally, you get, like, a bunch of people on both teams, but, like, we'll settle for just, like, a couple people on our team, a couple people on their team, or, like, a couple of each, right? Like, you want to try and get as much value out of it as possible. Even just, like, getting your both tanks with it is really fucking good. We lost that fight regardless, no doubt, but I don't think we've actually used Bio Grenade or Dart at all yet. We might have used Bio Grenade once. We haven't used it much, though. The thing is with Ana is that the strongest thing about Ana, easily, is her abilities, right? Like, her gun is whatever, not particularly exciting. She's got some of the best utility in the entire game. Bio Grenade is one of the strongest abilities in the entire game. Definitely one of the strongest basic abilities in the game. Sleep Dart's great, but hard to land, so there's that, and Nano Boost is really strong, as we all know, especially when comboed, but, like, every hero's got something about the hero that is unfair, right? Like, every hero that's good has got an unfair thing that you try and leverage, right? And the thing that's really unfair about Ana is that all of her cooldowns are just really disgusting. And you want to try and leverage the thing that makes your hero as unfair as much as possible. Like, the thing that makes Reinhardt unfair is that he gives his teammates free lines of sight because of his shield, and Earthshatter is an extraordinarily strong ultimate, right? So, when you're playing Reinhardt, you're really trying to leverage your shield health as much as possible to give your team an advantage, and you're trying to leverage Earthshatter as much as possible. And that's a more direct, obvious example of it, but we're always trying to leverage what is strong about our hero as much as possible. And for Ana, it's her abilities. So we really want to try and just, like, get them out there as much as possible. Obviously, we don't want to use them, like, frivolously, right? Like, we don't want to just, like, throw them out there, like, whatever, let's see if plays come to us, right? But we really are, it's the thing we want to leverage out of Ana, because they're the thing that's strong about Ana. So, Hammond's getting, like, bullied to death right now. Could have chucked the grenade at him to try and keep him alive, but I estimated it having fairly low chances of working, to be honest with you, because he was doing some dumb shit. So, Widow was making that difficult for us. Reinhardt, it didn't look like he was about to die, but he did. He hasn't even lost all his armor yet, but he just takes his shield down to Earthshatter in front of the enemy team, while... unfortunate. Look, life's hard, alright? Look, life's hard. Let's not worry about it too much. This is not a game we were likely to win, okay? It's not a game we were likely to win. I think the biggest thing we could have probably done to increase our chances of winning was honestly, like, change to a different tank on attack, because we needed an actual main tank, basically. We didn't get one. So we really should have tried to be that instead. Oh, turn the UI off. Just get ready for that one. Oh my goodness, is it actually, like, all correct for once? No, because I don't care about Pokemon particularly. Everything else is yeah, it's all good. That's all good. All things I've watched / would watch, except you. Very bad. So F-, basically. Anyway, so, you know, I know this video's about D.Va and Ana, but I think that the best thing we could have done round 1, honestly, was change to Reinhardt. Or just Orisa, you know, basically, a main tank, pretty much. Even Winston would have been an improvement, I think. Maybe not Winston, because they did have a Reaper, didn't they? That's true, that's true. Maybe not Winston. Any of the others, though, I think would have been an improvement overall. Yeah, like, Hammond can be a main tank, you know? Reddit will tell you as much, but most Hammond players are really bad, so that's the baseline. Most Hammond players are really bad, so don't expect much, but also, Hammond's a main tank if your team knows how to play around Hammond being your main tank, and Hammond knows how to play like a main tank, which is too many qualifiers for me to attach to something for me to feel confident having him be the main tank. So I encourage you to think of Hammond as being an off tank unless you know otherwise, like you're in an organized setting, or you know the Hammond player, right? Even then, you still need like an amount of teamwork, right, for it to really work as a main tank. So I encourage thinking of Hammond as an off-tank instead, and you never want to have 2 off-tanks in a composition, because 2 off-tanks, that just doesn't equal a main tank. And it is really hard to get any forward momentum going, or any defensive momentum going, alright? Which sounds weird as a sentence, but, you know. It's hard to get that going without a main tank, because your team just doesn't have the presence required to get anything. So that's really the thing that's, like, the most stood out to me in this game. Otherwise, you know, we still talked about a bunch of shit, so hey. Good times, good times. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I'm fucking it up already. I've started streaming on Twitch Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 7 PM EST till 10 or 11 EST, depending on how things go. Links in the description. Come have a good time, play video games. Good times. And if you somehow managed to make it all the way through the video, and somehow enjoyed it also, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future, and I hope you found the video helpful.